Hello.
Whoa, hello.
Hello. Hello. Jade, how's it going? Oh, wait, welcome back to the SqueekyDogCast.
Welcome back to the Doggy SqueekyCast.
Doggy, the Barky Rat cast. Barky Rat.
The Rat Fuckcast.
Whoa. Whoa, Jade.
I'm angry. We'll get to that.
We'll get to the anger. How is your day
We'll
other than
get to that.
anger? You did a stream.
I did. I streamed.
Collab
And what I
stream.
didn't tell you is that I didn't actually get to sleep last night. Like I tossed and turned all fucking night. So
I've
I'm
been
actually running on nothing but piss and vinegar right now. So yeah, I actually did a 6-hour stream.
Hell yeah. I wasn't able to make it because you started at 3 a.m.
And then by the time you woke up, you needed to go to classes.
Yeah, I woke up late.
So excellent fucking stream. You know what?
No,
I since we're on the topic of streaming, I do a hell of a lot of collabs, and you know what? I like that.
I
I've
like
been given
collabs.
shit for it before. I've been told directly by
Shit
groups I
stains.
will not mention
Pieces of shit.
that, yeah, pretty much. That, oh no, you shouldn't do so many collabs. You need to do more solo streams. You know what? Go fuck yourself. I like the people I hang out with. If you don't like the people I hang out with, you can eat shit.
I like the collabs. I think it's a lot more fun to stream with someone else, I feel. Even times when I'm playing solo games, I just kind of wish someone was on call with me. But then
Yeah.
also it's just nice to have it in chat anyway. Like I normally get the experience.
I mean,
But like collabs, they're fun. They're fun.
but as you mentioned, like just having somebody in like a voice chat with you or something, that's something I've actually done as well, is feature as not even playing a game.
You
But
did that with me.
I did that with
There was a
you.
Fallout 3 stream where that's where we talked about magic and music.
Yes.
One of my favorite
But
streams.
I've also done it with Anseri.
Yeah. I wasn't there
One
for
of
that
her,
one.
you weren't there for that one, but it was one of her Morrowind Monday streams. And she came into the voice chat I was in. And then she was like, I'm going to stream Morrowind Monday. Why don't you hang out? And I was like,
Yeah,
all right,
it's pretty
fucking
chill.
sure.
Jay,
Morrowind Monday is super chill.
don't kill me, but I did not mute my phone until just now.
Fucking every time. Every fucking time.
I was checking to make sure that it was muted though, so I was actually being precautious this time. But yeah, no, it is chill to do that type of collab where you're not actually playing a game together and you're just chilling on call.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what? Everybody has a different vibe to
Yeah,
streaming.
yeah. And on the topic of that, last night, David, Infinite Sky, the boyfriend, as I call him, the boyfriend, the
The
man,
boyfriend.
the man, um, he streamed for the first time. A complete surprise. I didn't know he was gonna go live. But I knew he had been planning it for a while. Um, he had like a drawn a little avatar kind of character that's just a very faint, ghostly like figure that like sways. I think it honestly it's very
You
much
want to
something
know?
that I think David sees himself as.
Oh, absolutely. But you want to know what one of my favorite things was?
What?
I think you had gone to bed by this time, but when he was ending stream,
Yeah, I
right?
wasn't there.
Everybody's got like different ending screens and be right back screens and all of that stuff. When he was ending stream, he closed the game and it was just a black screen and it said, "You are not alone." I thought that was
Aww.
fucking beautiful.
Aww. He's very sweet. I wish I was able to stay the whole time, but even with how late I stayed up to watch his stream, I wound up waking up late in the next like this morning to school. So I
You gotta
needed
learn to do what I do.
just stay up all night. No, I would literally like it's icy roads. I can't be doing that. Like
Yeah,
it is like negative degrees Celsius out here with like frozen roads. I can't be
I
staying up all night.
was. I was kind of just joking. I don't actually advocate for my lifestyle.
Make sure you
I
fucking
do not advocate for my lifestyle. Do not try and live my lifestyle.
unless you're really cool. That's my
No,
endorsement.
if you're really cool and then you do try to live my lifestyle, like you lose a lot of your cool.
Aw, but you
You know
gain
why?
cool for you.
My lifestyle will fucking kill you.
Whoa, that's a challenge.
That's not a challenge. That's
It's a
a
promise.
warning.
It's a promise.
That's a that's a deep warning for your health and safety.
Anyway, I just want to say I'm going to link David's Twitch channel in the description of this episode so that if anyone wants to support a small creator and our love David, please show the support. I think he's I'm really happy that he was able to start streaming, and I asked him everything, like if I'm good to like shout him out and stuff, and he said it's okay. So yeah, I'm happy for him.
So am
Um
I.
but I mentioned
It's
also
a
you could finish.
it's a fun thing just even to do casually.
Yeah, I don't think David is planning on doing it as intensely as me or especially you. Um
Nah.
but he does. I feel like it's a nice thing to have as like a way to break up your day, because a big thing with depression and not having anything to do and like no school, no work or anything is your days just fucking mold together into nothing, and you're just like left without anything to do, and that's when bad sleeping habits come in. It's when like horrible depression really gets to be its worst. So like having streaming really does kind of like ground you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
I mean, when I lost my job and before I started streaming, and my days were like that, that's what happened. Like
Yeah.
time becomes meaningless. It doesn't matter if you sleep till 4 in the afternoon or stay
You
up till
can
like
I see a lot
whatever hours.
with Anseri, mostly with the sleep stuff and the time stuff, where like Anseri will disappear for like 2 days because they were just sleeping, and then it's like, oh, I don't even know what day it is. I don't think
No,
Anseri knew when it became 2025. Like, she doesn't pay attention to time because she doesn't have a job and she's not in school. So, like,
I would argue that Anseri is self-employed.
yeah, there is definitely an argument for that, but it's mostly because
She is an
she
indie game developer who
yeah,
streams.
yeah, and she lives with disability checks that support her because she doesn't live that expensive of a lifestyle. So like, it's kind of like getting paid. The government loves
Yeah.
her game so much. She, uh, has she actually ever put out a game yet, or is she still like just have a million projects going and not a single's finished, which is so relatable.
Don't discount her like that.
No, no, I'm saying
Okay.
that
No,
that's
no. I know what your intention is there is not to discount her, but I'm saying like don't discount her like that because she doesn't have a million projects running that none of them are finished. She has two distinct projects that she's working on. A long-term project which she's planned to release possibly 2026, and she has a shorter-term project which could be released this year.
I could have sworn she had more stuff going on.
She's doing a lot of R&D,
I
and she's done a
see.
lot of R&D. I think you know a lot about the R&D type projects, the things that
Yeah, I see a lot of the smaller things that she makes, and because I've known her for like a long amount of time, so I've seen more things come up. So in my head, those are things that went nowhere, but I guess they are just little things to like test. They aren't the actual project. So I take that back. I take that back.
yeah. As I said, I know your intention wasn't to discount her. I didn't mean to bring it across that way, but
Yeah,
very much you've known her for longer.
yeah.
But recently, I've had the time because I'm also technically unemployed. I've
Yeah.
had the time and energy and all that, and the same thinking around how the days and time works
Yeah.
that I've spent a lot of time with her recently.
Mhm.
And once you cut away all that fat, all the stuff that looks like projects that are going nowhere, you realize like that's all R&D. That's not real.
Yeah, yeah. I get what the idea is now. Um, but yeah, I
Like
am.
her calculator project.
Yeah, for
Like
the Don't Starve Together.
that was all about learning, the mechanics of building not only a UI, but the things that happen behind the UI.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I am excited to see how all this comes together with her final game. I will absolutely be streaming it whenever it gets
Oh, I've
made.
got a lot of behind the scenes knowledge on that final game, and my
I
goodness,
only
is
know
it
a lot of the
looking
planning.
fantastic.
I only know a lot of the planning that she's shown, like me in calls, because I don't have time to socialize with everyone. But like, I wish I could. I wish I could. But yeah. I think it's good to keep up a fast pace today because we got a lot to get through. I want to mention also the thing I mentioned it, but school has started for me again, and I mentioned what.
Before we do get on that,
Yeah.
since we talked about streaming, we've shouted out
Oh yes.
Infinity Sky, we've shouted out Anseri Day. I
Hmm.
do want to just shout out two more creators.
Oh, of course.
In fact, three.
Oh, three.
If you'll allow me, I have three creators I'd
Of
like to
course.
shout
Of
out.
course.
Number one is iTech Remix.
Of course. Of
Because
course.
I think like iTech Remix has technically, if you take their entire streaming career, has been doing this since the days of Justin TV.
He needs his love, and
And I think they're
he,
fantastic
he is a good
as a
friend of
streamer
ours.
and a person.
He is a great friend of ours.
Yeah,
Um, I've tried to ask him to come on, but he thinks he'd be too boring as a guest. I don't think
I
that.
don't think
I
so.
don't think so. But we want him on. Um, and I think I know the
Number
other
two,
two.
number two is a South African streamer like myself called Average Plain Jane.
Yep.
When I started streaming last year, she was one of the first, obviously other than you and all that, she was one of the first people who helped me get into the space. Started supporting me in streams, collabing with me on a regular basis, you know,
Hmm.
and an all-around fantastic person.
She's wonderful. Great,
And the third
great
person I
personality on
want to shout
stream.
out, absolutely. Third person is Bloodwolf
Hmm.
Whisper, who is also fairly new to the scene. Fantastic energy, very chill on stream. Probably one of the coziest of all of us, really. I wouldn't call myself a cozy streamer, but
I think you're pretty cozy.
depends on the stream.
Depends on if I'm there or
I'm
not.
I'm chaotic.
It depends on whether or not the game allows the chaos, because then it really comes out if there's like gremlin activity. Those Minecraft streams, those get to be gremlin activity.
Those do. The streams I do with Bloodwolf and Jane also turn into gremlin activity. Today we played Chain together,
Oh god. In demonology, right?
Demon Demonologist,
Yeah.
and we even did Fortnite with viewers.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we should do a Fortnite stream.
Oh, the chaos is
That would be
absolutely
just the
fucking
two of
mad.
us, just two people who don't play Fortnite.
My goodness.
uh,
Thing
um,
is, you can have a party of up to four
I
people.
know, but I think it'd be funnier if it was just us two, because we don't play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but we could
having
bring in.
somebody there who can carry, because one of the viewers, no, this is one of Jane's viewers, literally carried us through like one of the matches where all of us, all three of us, the rest of us, me, Jane, and Bloodwolf, were all dead twice.
That's good. That's perfect.
He revived us all twice.
That's perfect.
And then came second place because the last
Oh,
person they were fighting, they had 3 health left and was
oh,
still in the game.
oh. Horrible.
It was nail biting. You gotta go back and watch that VOD because my goodness, is the chaos, the gremlin activity in the other games, the absolute
I
fucking
I I
madness that
I
went on.
do really wish I was there, but unfortunately it was at 3 a.m. my time.
And that's when it started, but it went on for 6 hours. Like it
Yeah,
was
but
eventually 9 a.m. your time.
I was in class.
Yeah, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. It was
it was not a short stream.
it was not short, but I still couldn't make it even despite that. But yeah, I mentioned it just now again. My classes have started again, which means that the podcast will probably have more academic discussions or me ranting about how bad the American school is because I remember that being a topic. It happened a lot last semester, like the econ textbook.
Yeah, econ was not great, but you're doing philosophy now, which if
Yeah,
you really give it like thought, I know irony,
I know the
philosophy, right?
irony, right? If you think it over,
But if you do give it thought, is going to become one of your most thought-provoking subjects,
I hope that's the case. It's honestly the
especially if
class.
taught well.
Yeah, it's honestly the class I'm looking forward to the least. Not because I don't want to take the class, but because the other ones I'm a lot more excited for in general. Like the I hate saying excited for it, but the Holocaust history class is genuinely an impactful and interesting class taught by a professor that I adore. So I am happy to be there. And the 20th century. So I actually have a funny story I want to tell you about with the America and the 20th century class that I started today. It's the 8 a.m. class. So this is the class that I almost missed because I woke up at 7:30, which is already extremely early for me. I normally wake up at fucking 9. So like having to wake up at 7:30, that's already a hassle. But even then that's late. I'm going to
In
be
fucking winter.
in winter is brutal. Like I was driving there shivering because my car didn't have a chance to heat up. I didn't even eat breakfast either. I had to jump out the door. I only had breakfast after class.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, but that class had I don't want to be mean, but every class has the one student who is just way too unaware of their like the social like situation of a class or
Lacking
yeah,
self-awareness.
they're not supposed to be talking after every single thing that the professor says. You're not supposed to make a comment about everything. Um, and I came in late, so I just sat down, and I had wound up sitting next to that person of
Ooh.
that class, and I was like every single time the professor said something, the kid just like whispered something under his breath. Like at one point, the professor was talking about how we live in a culture where talking to people isn't as common as it once was, and people are alienated and whatever. And the kid next to me whispered, "We live in a society," and I was just like, "Oh
Oh no. Oh no. Like not even just like having something to say, having like
no."
the ability to say words and say nothing or
Literally,
just oh
randomly, he would just put his hands to his head, and just fucking like he was like fucking Akira, where he's like ah, Akira, Akira, ah. It would just be like that scene, fucking just like put his heads in his hands, and he would literally go like ah. I'm like, what is going on to this guy? See, the head's gonna explode. And then the
yeah, like they're incapable of the type of deep thought that you require when studying philosophy because
No,
philosophy
This was American World War II or America post World War II, like American 20th century. This wasn't the
oh
philosophy class.
no.
Yeah, so this was the one where we're supposed to be talking about like the civil rights movement and the Vietnam War and the Cold War.
Oh no.
Uh,
They're going to be a problem.
no, the one who's gonna be a problem is the kid who sat in front of him.
Oh
who
no,
who
there's more.
also both these people had completely shaved heads, by the way. Like they had like the haircut your mom makes you get type of cut, which is how I don't trust people with like a basically like a shaved head, not like a clean cut hair, like someone like iTech or David who has a clean cut
People
hair.
people with shaved heads in your country are a different thing right
Well,
now.
I'm talking about younger
I'm just
people
gonna
who are.
say that.
Well, they're not buzz. They're not
Mm,
like bald. Not like it's just enough hair to where it's more than like a Nazi, but it's less hair than where you're clean cut. Because like iTech and David, they're clean cut. They have like short hair. There's hair on their head. It's a short hair, and like that's just how their hair is. They have short hair. This is like a step below it, where it's basically like
it's
nothing.
uncomfortably close.
It's uncomfortably close, but I associate it with the haircut that your mother makes you get when she wants you to look more like a man, which is very common. And I see it a lot
I
with
don't like
like
that at all.
18-year-olds.
I don't like that line being drawn. Mostly because of personal experience. When I was in school,
Oh yeah,
like my mother would take me to my uncle's
I
house,
was the same.
and he would just shave my head, and we'd do that
Yeah,
like once every month and a half.
I
Once the
had a
hair gets
similar
to like
life.
a certain length, it was like, all right, time to
Yep.
shave it all off now.
I wouldn't ever have it shaved all off, but I would have my hair cut to be very short until I was like 17. And then I was like, I don't want to go get haircuts anymore. And even then, it was more of a compromise until I was an adult. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not going. I'm an adult. And I haven't had my haircut in 2 years. Like, not even for a trim up. I have not been in a barber shop in 2 years. Um, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. It's a vibe now. It's a vibe.
Mm,
I got the bohemian hair.
yeah, I've also got long hair, but it's like broken and disheveled
You need a groomer. You need a nice rat bath,
and rat groomer.
rat groomer. No, but I need to. So I only talked about their hair. I didn't actually talk about what this kid was
The
doing.
word groomer is just fucking ruined.
It is Gruen. I just said Gruen. I didn't even talk about what this kid was doing. So the one kid was making comments about everything, but his comments were kind of like just wrong. Like at one point, the professor was like, "This class is designed for you to not have any obstacles. I don't want to put up roadblocks for anyone in this class. You have plenty of time to do all these assignments, 4 days and stuff." And it's like pretty forgiving class. Again, this is a history professor. The history professors on my campus are really good. Um, and then
Like this class is not going to be the one that breaks you, kind of
no, that it'll
situation.
probably be yeah. The class that'll break me will probably be my hope for humanity in the Holocaust class.
But what was this fucking kid doing?
So no, so sorry. I just for context of what the one kid was doing, so I can compare him to the other kid. So the first kid, the one who had his head in his hands and was talking about Joker, um, like
Dropping memes.
he would cut off the professor to try and assume what he's going to say next and get it flat wrong. Like the professor's like, this class is designed for you to not have any roadblocks, and then the kid cut it and said something like, so you're saying that this class will be like a guaranteed A, and it's like he's like he just basically stared at the kid and just kept talking afterwards as if that was like an answer, because like how do you like
What
there's a point where you just can't respond,
motherfucking question is that?
like you
I
just
think like a version of what I just said must have played in the professor's head. Like, why the fuck are you here?
that was kind of like I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was the spirit of that type of question where it was just something completely wrong and out of like left field, and it was just like you're not paying attention, and the professor just kept talking and tried to make that the answer to the question, because how the fuck do you answer something that's so stupid? Some people you just can't like respond to if they say something stupid, but the other person who was wearing a leather jacket, by the way. Oh, so I don't hate leather jackets. I think they're really fucking cool. I think leather jackets are cool when you have a knowledge.
Depends on the leather jacket, let's be honest.
Yeah, but the one he was wearing was the type that like Hugh Jackman wears in X-Men. So like X-Men 1, like that type of leather jacket.
Oh,
So like
oh,
it's like a cool leather jacket. But the thing is, he didn't compliment his outfit around it. So he was wearing it like how Elon Musk wears a leather jacket,
oh, damn.
where it's like a t-shirt and like Target elastic waistband jeans. Like he wasn't styling himself around the leather jacket. He was just kind of wearing a leather jacket to look cool rather than looking cool.
Yeah, like the leather jacket will make me cool. Surely,
Yeah, like
surely the leather
for
jacket
for
gives
con
me legitimacy.
I really like outfit composition. Most of this is from when I was trying to look more feminine stuff. I learned how to put together an outfit, and a lot of the recent stuff I know about men's fashion comes from watching Vosh. Um,
Oh,
it's true though. His fashion, he brings up great like people who talk about fashion and stuff. So like
you know what? Every time Vosh talks fashion, I switch the fuck off.
no, I love the fashion segments.
I
I just
fucking
I
hate
like
it.
talking about outfits. I like talking about clothes, mostly because of when I was learning how to
You know
transition and
what?
stuff.
Just gonna say, I don't have anything against Vosh doing like his own fashion thing. I don't go to his fucking channel
It's
to
his
hear
stream.
about the fucking fashion.
It's his
I know,
stream. Yeah. Um,
but you get what I
I
mean.
get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Like
Fashion
like as I
arcader.
said, I don't care if he does this. I don't care, but like,
Fashion fascist.
God, fascist is a term. But
Anyway, um, he would. I haven't actually gotten to the point of what he did yet. We're just rambling and getting distracted too much.
you're
I'm
rambling.
rambling. I'm the rambler. So like at one point the professor brought up like what they'll be discussing in class and stuff. He's like, "Oh, we'll talk about the civil rights movement. We'll talk about pop culture with like music and movies and rock and roll and Marilyn Manson. I mean Marilyn Monroe, not Marilyn Manson, Marilyn Monroe." And then the kid goes, "Talk about hot rods." And the professor looked at him and just went, automobile history isn't really talked about in this class. Um, we might mention them once, and then the kid was just kind of like trying to bring up hot rods again. Like, well, like, I mean, hot rods they were like a thing. They were big in the '60s, like like race car racing and stuff. And the professor kept looking at him, like, I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Motherfuckers like that who need to be taken out back and shot.
I don't think you know what you're talking about, kid. And then later the professor is like, I want this class to have open discussion. I want people to be able to say what they want to say. I believe in the freedom of speech. I believe people should be allowed to say what they want. And then the kid interrupts and goes, we weren't allowed to have that last election. And it's just like, oh. And then the professor later clarified and said, like, some opinions are better than others people's opinions. Some people's opinions are based in fact, and some people's aren't. My opinions are based in fact, and therefore they're better than someone's who's aren't. Just for clarification of this, like, that's like a good thing. Like that shows this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. Because I really hate hearing people go, all opinions are valid, because they're not. They're flat out
No, I
not.
mean like yes. What you say there is 100% true.
Yeah,
All
like
opinions are not valid.
yeah, no. All opinions are should be heard, but all opinions are not valid. Your opinion, just
I
because you
don't even
have an
think
opinion
all opinion.
in
I
a
wouldn't even
classroom,
go as far as to say all.
in a classroom, I think they're all fair because every student is
There
going to
is
have an
just
opinion.
some dumb shit that doesn't need to be said. That's my opinion. Look, I'm not gonna
Okay,
enforce
yeah.
that opinion on people, but
Uh,
I truly believe
my
there's
opinion.
some dumb shit
Well,
that
because
doesn't
a
need to be said.
classroom is the one place where I feel like you have the best floor to go. Here's the dumb opinion, and here's why it's wrong. Here's why this opinion is bad. It's a classroom. It's the setting of where you're supposed to analyze bad opinions. I think it's appropriate to talk about bad opinions there. How else would you learn about that type of stuff other than like having it exposed to you when you're fucking like yours are
If
perspective?
you're like beyond the age of your teens and you still hold or have certain thoughts and opinions, that shit should have been smacked out of you fucking years ago.
I love
Am I
how
not wrong?
I mean, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, what opinions? Like, opinions you had when you were a teenager you shouldn't have later, or like bad opinions you had when you were a kid should be gone?
Look, I can
Or do you think
understand
everyone
when
should
you're
be smacked?
19 years old, you're not going to have all the right answers, but
Oh
there
yeah,
are
yeah,
just
yeah,
certain wrong things that you should already know.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Like, like I'll make an extreme example here to just show you what I mean. But if you still think of like sexually assaulting
oh,
someone who's
fuck.
kind of drunk just because they didn't technically say no is okay, that's a wrong opinion that should have been smacked out of you fucking years ago.
You just reminded me of what I finished watching last night. Jessica Jones,
Right.
Kilgrave, a
Kilgrave.
vile fucking baby. Absolutely vile. We don't have to talk about Jessica Jones. It's a fucking like 10-year-old show. Actually, I think it is 10
I
years old.
know.
2015. I think it is 10 years. Yeah, no. Yeah, we don't talk about it. But season one's a good season, so you should go watch it. Don't watch anything after it. It's bad. Um but yeah, the
Oh, I can
classes
say that.
you can say that. I can't. I'm going off of your word. I'm going off the word of everyone I've ever heard that the rest of the Netflix shows other than Daredevil and Jessica Jones season 1 are bad. Um but yeah, that's how the class went. That's how it's going to go for the rest of the year. I hope that that kid shuts up. Oh, I also forgot to mention when he mentioned the opinions being better, some people's opinions being better than others. The kid just said like bigots sarcastically. I don't know what to, and he kind of got cut off. So I don't know what the hell he was going to go on about that for. But we'll have to see where that goes. If anything big happens, I'll be sure to talk about it here.
Yeah.
But I think that leads pretty good into the politics section of the cast, which I think you also wanted to bring something up about your personal day with politics.
Right. So like obviously, we've got a natural lead in here, but obviously like after the part after my streaming today, I did actually get to sit down and realizing that we're recording today, and I sort of went over a lot of the things that we're going to talk about and all that. And I'm just going to bring this up
for for
just
for
for a visual aid.
for what will happen in the future. Like for our
For a
first topic
visual
of what
aid.
we're talking about, this is a hint.
This is a hint.
You can actually bring up
So
hints for all of
yeah,
them. You have little like a clue for later, like foreshadow.
I know, but we'll leave this one up for a little bit longer because I feel like people need to fucking understand
um
that this motherfucker is a Nazi.
uh yeah, so I guess that means we're jumping into the
We're
first
jumping
topic.
into it.
Okay, so last week we talked about Elon Musk cheating in Path of Exile, having a guy play the game for him to get all the good loot so he can play this game on stream. Um Also, he apparently did it again. Like he apparently had that that pumper, whatever the fuck you call the people who play like those types of games for you. He had them playing during the inauguration, and he died. Like the player died while Elon Musk was at the inauguration
Wait, as far as I
on
know,
Elon's
he killed
account.
his player.
Well, no, because the first one might have been him. But I assume that the cheater died because it just happens sometimes. I like it better that the cheater died because that means that basically this dude was just doing his own playthrough of Path of Exile while letting his little brother pop on occasionally. Um, and then the second time it had to have been the cheater because Elon Musk was at the inauguration when his account died.
But that being said, apparently you can get a really good H-1B visa if you're good at Path of Exile. It's just a bit.
There's like this like NDA like job like everyone who like knows about it's like a dark secret or whatever that no one can actually point out that every single like billionaire has a fucking Path of Exile 2 player on payroll.
Right. So
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 last
let's
yeah
actually
yeah
dive
we
into it,
talked about him
right?
cheating in
Number
Path of
one,
Exile.
it would
He did a
the
Nazi salute.
discourse is stupid. He did a Nazi salute.
He did a
That's
Nazi
that's
salute. Here
that's plain. That's plain,
here's the
right?
Nazi salute right here. We'll play it. Here is him giving his speech.
Talking shit, being an idiot, complete piece of shit, vile, vile piece of crap that can barely be rated as a human being.
Nazi
There we
salute,
have it.
and then he turns
Just,
around. Oh, they
just.
cut away after that one, but he turns around and does it to Trump, and then he does it to the crowd again. Or twice. I think he only does it twice.
He does it twice, but then after the second time, he puts his hand back on his chest and he says some shit like, "My heart goes
Yeah,
out to
my
you."
heart goes
Because
out to you. Which this is just a Nazi salute. I'm sorry. He even does the slam to the chest, which I know is something that a lot of fucking little fucking Nazis love to do. They love that little passionate
But
hand slam to the
I'd just
chest.
like to point out, because obviously this has been discussed to death since it's happened. So I'd like to just make a statement on the discourse. It's dumb. Everybody who's defending it knows that either they're lying or they're actively fucking stupid.
Can I say one thing? This is a complete
Yeah.
sidetrack, and I won't want to present this anymore. This article over here looks like a Onion headline. Elephants are sentient. Why won't courts admit they're people? That is an Onion headline. I don't. I just. I wanted to point
That
that
is
out.
absolutely an onion headline. But yeah,
Just
the discourse is stupid,
he
and
is a Nazi.
people are anybody who is saying this is not a Nazi salute is wrong. Because you know who says it is a Nazi salute? Nazis. Actual
I
self-appointed,
don't. I
self-identifying
I
Nazis
really don't
are
like this
saying
article.
it's a Nazi salute.
I don't like this article at all because Newsweek sucks. But they're framing this under the context of Elon Musk's trans daughter's response, where they're saying that it's an alleged Nazi salute.
Yeah, if you look at the headline and even what you just highlighted there, they're putting Nazi salute in
Quotes.
quotations as if it's like, oh, supposed Nazis. No,
His
fuck you.
single
It's
arm
not. It's not.
gesture, his Elon Musk's single arm gesture while speaking, single because they
Eat
cut out the
my
sec because
whole
they
ass.
cut out the second time he did it.
Eat my whole ass.
Just fuck. And the thing is too, you can see it on CNN's broadcast. You can see it right there in the Newsweek we just did. But the CNN, the Fox News, NBC, they cut away from the footage when he did the Nazi salute because they didn't want to make him look bad. Because a lot of big news organizations right now, and we'll see this later when we cover some of the later stuff Trump was doing in the executive office term, they're cutting out a lot of stuff that makes the government look bad at the moment. Like it's a huge media crackdown right now, and only a lot of the smaller news sites and independent news are being able to actually talk about these things.
Independent YouTubers
Yeah,
and streamers of politics who are incredible, and only the very left-leaning ones, the very obviously left-leaning
yeah,
ones, because even the so-called center non-political people
they don't exist anymore.
like people we don't like Asmongold are
Yeah,
defending it. Like
yeah.
he's not even a fucking politics person.
Well,
What the fuck does he know?
Asmongold, he was a WoW streamer, right? Or was it WoW or League of Legends? Was it WoW or League of Legends? I think it was WoW.
Both suck. Both
I think he played both.
both suck.
He probably played both. The thing with Asmon is he is a gamer gator type of person. He is the figure who's supposed to get non-political people politically charged. That was where he fits in the right-wing sphere. He is someone who is not a political commentator, but he is a political commentator. He covers politics injected quote unquote into like video games or TV shows or movies or anime or comic books. That's the type of person he is. He's supposed to get like
Anybody
dudes
who
angry.
gives the tiniest amount of credence to anything he says, like at all, just no.
Yeah, no. I hate it. Um so we also have another small story here from a bishop. Do you want to
Oh
actually
yeah,
do you want to play the there's
I
an image
have
this time as
the
well, a political cartoon. Blessed are the merciful radical leftist because that is literally what happened.
yeah.
Um
This is pretty much it.
so this woman
Some
who
bishop, and look,
I think
I'm the
this
last
woman,
one to agree with Christians. We all know this. Just gonna
this
put
guy's
that
got
out there
his
in the
shit
front of
on.
this.
This
But
is
that
crazy.
bishop, she fucking asked for compassion, and
Also,
she
I
was told
I
she
want
was
to
a
say
nasty person.
she has the phrenology of a nice lady, and this guy's got an acorn hat. I want to point out the acorn hat. I'm sure I just offended some religion out there by saying this is an acorn,
Yeah,
but that's an acorn. I'm
yeah.
sorry, it's an acorn.
Not just a religion, but an entire culture.
It's an acorn. I'm sorry. Okay.
Either
Anyway,
way,
so I forget what her specific quote is. I hope that they're here in this article because I could not find an article of the original thing. I could only find the response. Um, let's see. Hold on.
because they
Bishop.
won't, they won't. I feel like the mainstream things won't quote her because it'll point out just how, like,
Here it is. I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. They are gay, lesbian, and transgender, children in democratic, republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. The vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our community whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Yeah. So basically, she called for Trump to have mercy on the poor, the
mercy and
destitute,
compassion.
mercy, compassion on those who are less fortunate or in
What does it say
situations.
on the Statue of Liberty again?
Uh, let's pull up the exact quote. It's I think it's the New
Because you know
Colossus.
what I'm alluding to here.
I do know what you're alluding to. I do know. By Emma Lazarus, the New Colossus. Yeah. So the poem goes, not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, that with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-abridged harbor, that twin cities fame. Keep ancient lands, you storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Basically, you give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. Like, that's kind of the whole deal with America and stuff. And Trump is just like, you are horrible, this bishop. You are horrible, bishop. You're horrible. You're disgusting.
Like, at what point in these next 4 years does Trump demand taking down the Statue of Liberty as, like,
I think they'll just
French propaganda?
I think
Because
they'll
it was
just
built
I
by the
think they'll
French.
yeah, I think they'll just take down the plaque if they do anything because the Statue of Liberty has been turned into like not what it's supposed to be. It'll be the plaque will be torn down and they'll replace it with like American
With how
flag.
extreme day one has been, I honestly
Well,
wouldn't be surprised. French
yeah.
propaganda?
No, they wouldn't tear down the Statue of Liberty because Americans view it as like a patriotic landmark. It's been like turned into like
Yeah, but
a.
they also view anything Trump says as absolute truth.
I just don't think Trump
He
would
says
do
the
that
words
though.
French propaganda.
It, I'm sure they'd believe it. I just don't think Trump will do it.
He's
There's no
renaming.
point
He's
to.
he's decided to rename the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me pull up Google
Truth
Maps.
doesn't matter anymore.
Let me pull up Google
Reality
Maps.
does not fucking matter anymore. Google is an American-based company.
Yeah, I just want to see if it's called that on Google Maps. Am I okay? I have to make sure I'm not showing where I live. No, it's still called the Gulf of Mexico on Google Maps.
For how long?
For how long? I don't know. The Gulf of Mexico. There it is. Still here for now.
Because, Google is, yes, it is an international company, but its basis is in America.
Gulf of America. If you actually read why, like the official reasoning of why they renamed it, it was because of like tourism and business, not because of like pride or culture or heritage. It's all about money. It's money, money,
Yeah,
money, money, money. Because these people don't fucking actually give a shit about anything. They
they
don't.
don't.
They don't believe in culture. They don't believe in like an actual history. They believe in a fake history. Also, I think another thing I want to mention, I completely forgot about. The kid in my class, he said I came to this class because I was told this is where you get to learn about, and he referenced to the African American history professor who absolutely said this to be sarcastic, because I remember him saying this when I was in his class originally. Um, if you want to learn about white picket fence America, you go to Downey. Downey is the professor who's teaching the 20th century. So then the kid gets into this class. He's like, Marchie told me that white picket fence. This is where I learn about white picket fence America. Like, he said that enthusiastically, and the professor went, "Well, if that had ever existed," and the kid just kind of scoffed and as if it did exist. That was the first thing he did in class. That was like the first thing that happened, like 3 minutes into class.
God.
That's the type of attitude we're dealing with in the country.
So I'm just gonna DM you something. Don't read it out loud. Just take note and understand, and we can continue, right?
uh, you're good. Um,
Right.
You don't need to fucking.
No, I'm just telling you, and I'm telling you,
I'll edit this out.
don't bring attention. But anyway, yes, this is where I start getting very angry
Yeah.
because this is so very blatantly and so very pointedly not about truth. This is about power. This is about money. And this is about fucking over anybody who doesn't toe the line.
Absolutely. It's about consolidating power right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the whole thing is absolute madness.
It's so bad. And for this last one, I think it'll be really hammer home the loyalty aspect, because this is a lot of these are being talked about by no one. So,
Yes. This is the
yeah,
part where I get very angry.
everything Trump did in the first executive orders and actions of his presidency. Now, this might actually be out of date. No, it was published last night, so everything actually should be up to date. But they might not include everything. So the first section here is on immigration and the U.S. borders. Designate an invasion across the southern border of the United States, a move that triggers an executive branch. Basically, he's saying that there is a national emergency at the border. That is the first thing that is
Which
here.
there isn't.
There isn't. That
Like,
has always been a
let's
made up thing.
just admit, like I have been following a lot of this stuff as it's been happening. Number one, immigration is down, and not just down like for a month or 2 months.
It's
Like
been
it's
down
down
relatively.
beyond like levels it's below levels it's been historically.
Uh, no.
During Biden's time,
Oh, this is up to
during the
2020.
last 4 years, is what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Immigration to the United States. Yeah, see, there it dips. The graph went up
Like
to this.
historically down.
Yeah, in the millions. So like at our highest in the early, our highest was in the mid 2010s, which makes sense because that's like the newest time. Like things only get higher. It dipped in the Great Depression, and then it built up during the Cold War, and it fell
But
again. But
the point
it doesn't
the point
exist.
is here is that this is a flat lie.
Yeah, they
This
they
is
always
a
talk about
flat
they
lie.
always talk about migrant caravans coming up from the south, and stuff, and
They're emptying their prisons,
they're emptying their prisons,
their mental
their mental institutions,
institutions.
the mental asylums. The crime in Venezuela is at an all-time low because they're all being sent up here. Just all of this is just
Which
wrong.
is also a flat lie.
Yeah. Allow U.S. military service members to act as immigration and border enforcement officers as part of Trump's proposed mass deportation program. Covers the ready to reserve a National Guard, military property that could be used. So basically, they're turning U.S. soldiers into ICE.
They're turning all official
Any
law
like, yeah.
enforcement and military
Well, this is
personnel.
for National Guard and Reserve because he can't actually do police because police is city. So he doesn't have the, but he can
Police
do
already
National
have to
Guard.
work with ice, as far as I
Oh yeah, no,
understand.
don't worry. Like the thing with the police is the police just listen to him. Like they'll just do it anyway. But like officially on the books, this law pertains to U.S.
Even though
military
he
and
just
National Guard.
pardoned a bunch of people who tried to kill
Oh,
police officers.
we'll get to that later. This is in the immigration section still. Stop
I know,
refugee
but this is
arrivals.
all this shit ties together.
Yeah, it all ties
I'm
together.
just mentioning it as it
This
pertains
is
to how it
me.
ties to this.
This is me, by the way. I'm out here with my good buddy. We're scouting out the wall for entrances. Stop refugee arrivals and suspend U.S. refugee admission program effective January 27th, pending a 90-day review and recommendations for. So yeah, the refugee arrivals have stopped. Redefine birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. A Trump order asserts that a child born in the U.S. is not a citizen if, one, the mother does not have legal immigration status in the country or is not country likely. The father is not a U.S. citizen. This order forbids U.S. agencies from issuing any document recognizing such a child as a citizen or accept any document recognizing citizenship. This order is already being challenged in federal court. So he's
Unconstitutional.
redefined birthright citizenship and it's already being challenged. This one might
Cody?
actually go away. Like this one might
Cody?
actually be
No, it
won
wasn't
over.
Cody. Who was
Vosh,
it? Steve Shives.
Steve Shives.
Steve Shives is not primarily a political
I've seen
talking
him
head.
recommended.
Do you know what he is primarily?
No, I don't.
A Star Trek fan
I
channel.
don't know why the fuck I had to say Star Trek there. I don't know why I had the urge to say Star Trek.
He does like he's a fan of the same Star Trek era I am, like the
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 90s, Next
the
Generation.
Patrick Stewart 90s Next Generation like he doesn't like Voyager, but Deep Space Nine and even Enterprise. God, I thought Enterprise was off topic. Either way, this guy said it best, right? Where he said something along the lines of Trump has signed executive orders which are illegal, and Trump has also signed executive orders which are unconstitutional,
And
which
no
is
one's gonna
worse
do
than
anything.
illegal.
And no one's gonna do anything.
But that's the important line.
Worse than
It's
illegal.
worse than just illegal.
It's like it's the most incorrect you can do to something. Prioritize
Like
continued
being
construction of a wall.
ah, fucking wall.
Direct the Attorney General and Homeland Security Secretary to create Homeland Security task forces in all 50 states comprising of state and local law enforcement charged with ending the presence of criminal cartels, foreign gangs, and transnational criminalizations. Nicaragua will be crushed in Colorado. There will be no more Venezuelan gangs. The Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. Give the Homeland Security wide latitude to establish agreements with the individual state and local law enforcement agencies to. Yeah, this is where the cops become ICE. This is where cops become ICE.
So yes, as I said.
Yes, but that was talking about specifically that other law.
Do you know what was the last country to do that?
Um, I'm
Germany.
sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. I thought you were gonna talk about like Russia or some shit.
No, no.
You're
Look,
talking about
in
cops.
Russia, I'm talking about he is turning anybody who works for the state,
The Gestapo.
who carries a gun.
Yeah, basically.
If you carry a gun and you work for the state, your job is to fuck over people
Yeah, he's
who
doing.
determine what
He's
is right.
creating brown shirts. Is what he's doing. He's creating brown shirts who are going around to just terrorize people. For require collection of DNA samples and fingerprints from immigrant detainees. So now all immigrants will have DNA samples. Forbid so-called catch and release, which allows immigrants to So basically, this used to be a policy where when an immigrant who was when a migrant was detained, they were allowed to stay in the country until their
Mm.
court date, and now they are no, now they are put in like prison instead of being allowed to be in the
So
country.
if you are a migrant, you are not innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
exactly what that says.
that's what
Because
it is.
if you shoot somebody in broad fucking daylight
You're innocent
and
until
they
proven
arrest you,
guilty.
you're still innocent until proven guilty. If I understand the American law system at all,
I think that might be the most extreme case where that is not allowed. But I think at that point,
on the paper, it does not state except when.
yeah, true. You're right.
This is
You're
what
right.
I'm talking
You're right.
about.
You're right.
In the letter of the law,
Yes, you're correct then. Yes. Um,
So that immediately, I mean,
yeah. Direct Homeland Security to immediately devote resources and secure contractors to construct, operate, control, and use facilities. So this is where we get the concentration camps. That's the concentration camps here. Facilities that are dedicated to uh,
operate,
and to
construct.
detain removable aliens.
So I know that these officers, Homeland
This is such
Security,
a
all of them.
worrying
Do you know?
statement.
But here's what I'm going to say: Homeland Security does need physical officers, right?
Yeah.
Since when did they full on have to do construction projects as part of their main job? That's worrying how much importance he's putting on that.
This is literally like saying a
Because
law to construct concentration camps, and I'm not even an exaggeration. This is where you get fucking
yes,
Buchenwald. Now we're getting
yes,
fucking Auschwitz. This is
because
where it comes
you
in.
know, like all of the people that he wants to include in this is more people than the Germans could fucking move.
Yes, it is insane what
It
is
is
going to be happening.
literally more people than the most efficient country in the world was able to move out of their country. This
Yeah.
is dangerous.
End so-called parole programs offered to as family reunification that allow family members of certain citizens and permanent resident immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela to come to the U.S. while their visa applications are still pending. So if your visa was still pending, you were allowed to come into the country to visit your family, but now you are not. Require a review of all cases for all immigrants now in the U.S. under temporary protected status with the stated intent of ensuring that such designations are appropriate. So basically, they're going to go through everyone who has this status, and they're going to say no, or most of it say no to most.
You know the term cross your eyes,
Cross your
cross your
eyes and
T's
you
and
dot your eyes.
dot your I's and
Yeah,
cross your
make sure
T's.
everything is up to standard.
If one eye does not have a dot exactly within a certain micrometer of where it needs to be, these people are going to get fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
They
Uh,
they will find any
yeah.
excuse.
Revert to vetting and screening standards using Trump's first term for any person seeking an immigration benefit of any kind, and apply the standard visa vetting procedures to refugees. More strict vetting procedures, repeal a
But
Biden order requiring planning for the effects of climate change on world migration patterns. So basically, now they're not going to take into account climate refugees. Direct the Secretary of State, U.S. Diplomats effectively to search, threaten, sanction.
so wait, I got a
Why did I say
question on that
search?
last one.
Yeah,
If some freak storm and flooding occurs in Canada,
like a blizzard or a fire.
like a like a blizzard, but
I think a fire
more
would be
like
more accurate.
I think a flood wouldn't be out of the question.
Well, Canada gets wildfires all the time.
Constantly. I'm talking about some place near the New York border.
Yeah, so it'd be like Kingston or whatever. Vancouver could be with Seattle or something, right?
Right, right.
Like
But
say
the point
Seattle
is
burns
that
to the fucking ground.
by Trump's law here, by his order here, those people would not be able to come into America.
Yeah, this I think this was mostly referring to people who were in like Central America and they get hit by a hurricane so bad that the country is devastated beyond repair, and so a lot of people move to America. That's mostly what this is talking, or like Cuba with a hurricane or something. Like this is what this is
Yeah,
kind of talking about because in Canada,
but
the
if
country's
applied
so small.
equally,
Yeah, yeah, I get
if
what you're saying.
applied equally, and those people needed to come here
He
in
wouldn't.
order to
They
like,
won't be able to.
they won't be able to.
Yeah, it's
Like
yeah, it's just
we can
cruel.
scream and shout about the effects on Cuba, on Venezuela, on Mexico, on all of these places, but the truth is, if you look at how the country voted, they don't care about those problems.
I just I just got a little
This
note a
country
news
isn't.
I just got a news article recommended to me here from MSN from the Associated Press. Trump tells Davos
Oh
elite to
God,
invest in US or face tariffs. He's trying to now tariff an organization.
Davos. Who the fuck is Davos?
Davos is like the it's the fucking it's the goddamn municipality thingy in Switzerland where all the rich people go in their summit, the World Economic Forum. You know, like Klaus Schwab.
Like it's a municipality, so it's like
It's a
somebody
city, but
suing.
it's famous for the World Economic Forum's meetings. Basically, it's like all the big business magnates of the world meet up and plan how they're gonna rig the economy, and it's run by Klaus Schwab, who has a million conspiracy theories about him. Um, you know that one music
How
video that I
rich is
showed
he?
you? What? How rich is
Where's he
he?
from? How old is
He's
he?
German. I
I
don't.
know this is like, you know,
It's not
um,
listed. I don't think. But you know that song
sometimes
I
these
mentioned.
motherfuckers, especially motherfuckers with lots of money, are more products of their environment than I feel like than a lot of poor people. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
If you grew up
absolutely.
in a poor neighborhood, like you couldn't just ignore fucking normal reality.
No, no. The thing about Klaus Schwab, by the way, you know that one song I played on stream a lot, the "Are you ready for the new world order?" That's Klaus Schwab. That's about that. I just
Well,
anyway, he's
he didn't grow up in a rough neighborhood, did he?
no, but yeah, he plans on fucking tariffing a goddamn city now. Anyway, fucking tariffing Switzerland. It's literally Anyway, direct the
Yes,
Secretary
no,
of
I just
State.
I didn't really I didn't know how to say anything there
It's just
because
so
it's
dumb.
that's like
I'm
I'm
gonna
sitting
dare
there
of
kind of
you
dumbfounded. That's why, like, read the next one.
direct the Secretary of State and use the plans effectively to threaten sanctions against any nation as a reluctant attempt to. Why? Whatever. Direct the State Department, Homeland Security, and others to review and recommend changes to vetting for visas and produce a report to which the President within 60 days. The order is calling identified entries for which vetting and screening. Okay. We're getting to the point where a lot of these are like administrative things that are just mean. And there's nothing really here to
Yeah,
mention. Oh, here's sanctuary
this
cities.
is just
This
this
is a
is
good
the
one.
fascism,
This
right?
is one. This is
This
one.
is just the fascism.
Direct the Attorney General and others to deny federal money to so-called sanctuary cities. Um,
Fascism.
cities the administration sees as interfering with federal immigration enforcement, with the caveat that Trump's administration pursues actions to the maximum effort. So yeah, sanctuary cities are cities where ICE aren't allowed to enter. I think Chicago, I think, is the biggest sanctuary city. ICE is not allowed to enter Chicago. I think I think Portland's a sanctuary city. But now ICE is allowed to uh, the ICE will be allowed to go into sanctuary cities pretty soon. And now there's no more funding to the sanctuary cities administration for the sanctuary things. There was also an order that they repealed. I don't know if it'll be mentioned here. It might have been after this article was written, but now ICE is also allowed to ignore the ban where they weren't allowed to enter schools, hospitals, or churches.
Yes, I did hear about that one.
Yeah, so ICE is now allowed to raid
There's
schools,
no
hospitals,
way you
churches.
can run. There's no way
Yeah,
you can hide.
pause distribution of federal money to non-government organizations supporting or providing services either directly or indirectly to remove to removable or illegal aliens pending reviews. So yeah, basically, if you're an organization that helps illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants, or people who can be deported, as they say, you no longer have any sort of
You
federal
know,
money.
you know what's just only now occurring to me in a very deep way?
Yes,
They, the fascists are awfully bureaucratic,
they
aren't
they
they?
all have always been. My African American history professor was talking about this when he talked about slave owners, but the people who love to keep the most amount of records are the most evil motherfuckers alive, because to them they love the business. They love turning it into like this fucking like, here here we have the giant note record book where we keep all the people we've deported, because it's like a business. We love like people like this love this type of fucking, they love being organized. They love this type of organized mass killing. It's just, I don't know why it is. I'm sure there's some fucking way you get into it. There's like a reason, but these motherfuckers, they always love this shit. It's always a trend. Slave owners love doing this shit. The Nazis loved keeping records until they had to burn them all so they didn't get tried in a court.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Eventually, they burn them all.
Yeah, well, the slave owners didn't
Like,
really burn theirs, and the Nazis
no,
didn't have
no,
a
they
chance to burn
fought
all
hard.
theirs.
Those slave owners fought hard and died to keep those fucking files. Let's be honest
Let's be
here,
real.
right? Like,
Yeah, thing is, the slave
during the
owners were not as
American Civil
persecuted as
War,
hard as the Nazis were.
what people are forgetting is that, you know, say what you will about states' rights, like they were just people who were willing to enslave other people It's just plain evil. And if you can't see that, like, you just are evil. We can't argue with you about good and evil at this point. You just are
You
evil
just
and
are
don't care.
evil.
Isn't that true though?
It is true. It is true.
Like
Uh,
they're wording this as if it was perfectly reasonable what they were
I should
doing.
not have scrolled down because it has spoiled an amazing image. Designate international cartels as foreign terrorist organizations or specifically
Oh,
designated global terrorists. The order triggers the Alien Enemies Act to combat cartels and their members. So this one is, I think this is what's going to lead to, if there was an invasion of Mexico that's going to happen, it'll be caused by this, where because now that cartels are considered terrorists and not um,
that's the thing.
criminal
Which
organizations,
other countries has America determined are terrorists? And
Iraq,
when you look at that list,
Iran,
you start to
Afghanistan,
realize a very uncomfortable
Libya,
history.
Yemen,
I mean,
Syria,
I was growing up during the Bush
Palestine.
era.
Yeah, this
I was
is this
growing
is
up in
what
the Bush years.
think I remember. Right, if you finish what
And
you're
remember,
saying.
so I grew up in the Bush years. I'll just say quick. I didn't grow up in America. I grew up in South Africa during the Bush
Yeah.
years. The thing is during the Bush years, like we had just come off of Nelson Mandela and his like chosen second in command, for good or for bad, was the next president of the country after he chose to step down willingly and not hold like power. Like our country was doing very well ideologically, I think.
Yeah.
Like
But yeah, the Bush admin
the Bush
was not very
administration.
kind to the countries they consider to be terrorists or have terrorists in them. But yeah, I can see this becoming an instance where the cartel uh does their usual cartel violence against like people like a like tourist spots, and they like kidnap an American family and kill them, bury them in the desert, and then it's like a terrorist attack on American citizens, and then America retaliates with like a raid, and then it escalates and it escalates and it escalates, and all of a sudden America is doing an invasion not of Mexico, they're doing an invasion of the cartels, and all of a sudden now there's an American military base on what was formerly cartel land. Whoa, who would have thought? I could totally see where that's going. Require within 30 days the Attorney General, Secretary of State, and others to evaluate the adequacy of programs designed to ensure the proper assimilation of lawful immigrants into the United States and recommend any additional measures that promote a unified identity. That's just.
And you know what? It's a simple three-letter word that is like the worst problem. Any.
Yeah.
Any.
Any. You can do anything you
Any.
want. That's frightening. Anyway,
Like Jan 6 proved that.
yeah.
It proved it.
Here we go in these category, the fun things that are just completely stupid. Broadly direct all executive agencies to tailor their policies to reduce consumer prices. Trump wants a progress report from top White House economics every 30 days. So I saw this mentioned where Trump was like, here's our goals for the administration. We want to lower prices. We want to make housing better. And then didn't show any way that he's going to actually do that. And this again is that. We're going to lower prices.
But,
How?
but
We don't know.
here's the thing though, right? So this is where we get into the nitty-gritty, honestly. Because here you start understanding how they think. Because either that top White House economic advisor is going to tell something, A, that is true, and Trump doesn't understand it or doesn't want to understand it, or B, he's going to tell Trump what he wants to hear, and
Exactly.
Trump's going to do what he wants.
Exactly.
Like, this isn't even like setting up a government agency to look into this separate from me. This is like, I want a personal progress report on my desk every
Yeah.
fucking month. Like, he doesn't even fucking
He's not
understand
reading
it when
that.
he reads it, other than like the. I don't know what he
Yeah.
sees.
Direct the Treasury and Commerce Secretaries, U.S. Trade Representative, and others to examine causes of U.S. trade deficits, identify unfair trade practices, and make recommendations. Okay, so the trade deficit, when you're trading with a country and you spend more money than they like if you are spending more money than they're spending money in trade relations, that means you are a wealthier country. Think of it like this. When Britain was an empire and they had India, Britain had a trade deficit with India because technically India wasn't like theirs. It was like technically the British Raj, so they were technically trading with it. So it was like money was going to the British Raj. It wasn't like Indians, it was British people running it. But it was like a protectorate. It was technically the British Raj. Anyway, they were having a trade deficit
Donald Trump
with the British
is
Raj.
deficit.
Yeah. So the British had a trade deficit with the British Raj because the British would be buying all the nice things that the British Raj had because the British Empire was rich. America has trade deficits with Canada and Mexico because Canada and Mexico don't have as much money as America does. So having a deficit means you have money. It means you have money. If you don't have a deficit when you're trading, that means you need the money in. That's your economy is getting money in. You're an importing country. You're an exporting country. America is an importing country, which means all the stuff we get, we're buying from other countries, which means we are having enough money to support that. That is what it means to have a trade
You know
deficit.
what?
But Republicans don't understand that because Republican thinks that line go up is when line is good.
You know what though? If all Americans, right? Here's a wild theory. If all Americans did nothing but export media,
That's kind of all we do.
almost no yeah, but like if all Americans
Yeah.
did nothing but export the media they do, like have jobs like actor and performer,
Yeah.
like you could buy anything in the fucking world.
Yeah. America's biggest export is entertainment.
Like trying to make fucking cars and supercomputers and AI, go fuck
Yeah,
yourselves.
no. If America wanted to be a production giant, we should have focused on like clean energy production, like
Production.
windmills and solar panels, nuclear power plants, like shit like that. That's what we should have been focusing on because that's a fucking untapped industry back in the day, back in like the 2000s, and now China has a complete stranglehold over it, and we're still trying to build up a car industry again, which isn't going to happen because every other country has a fucking car industry. Anyway, begin reviewing the U.S. Mexico Canada agreement. Trump's first administration rewrites of NAFTA with an eye on the renegotiation in 2026. Senator Trump says he plans 25% tariffs on Canada and
Oof.
Mexican goods. He has not signed into law. I don't have any opinions on NAFTA. I haven't actually read on I haven't actually done much reading or understanding on the specifics of NAFTA. It's not really something
I
that
don't
comes
even
up.
know what the fuck NAFTA
The
is.
North American Free Trade Agreement. It's an agreement between U.S., Mexico, and Canada. It was done under Clinton's administration to increase
Free
trade
trade.
between it. Yeah, pretty much. It's like there's a lot of details in it, and I know that like people like Ross Perot, who were against it and stuff. I know that there was a lot of controversy with NAFTA and stuff. Um, but I don't know who did I don't know who it's controversial for. I don't know the
Yeah, I
details of
don't know
NAFTA.
much about it
But
either,
I know
but
that if Trump wants to
the
rewrite it, that
25%,
it's probably something
25%, regardless of what NAFTA
that's
is,
insane. That's insane
25%
on
as of
all
February 1st,
on all
but has not signed
the executive
such
action.
actions
Yeah,
so
it
far.
has not come across his desk yet. Is basically what that means. Begin establishment of an external revenue service to collect tariffs, duties. Yeah, fucking tariffs.
Because
Here's this
here's
amazing
the other
image.
side of the coin, right?
Look
Like
at this
we don't
image.
even know, then that's fucking
AI photo of Donald Trump in a throne, with a photo of him thumbs up, a Trump hat, and a Make America Great Again hat at a stock exchange in New York. Uh, uh, Begin reviewing of trade dealings with China to consider new increased tariffs. As a candidate, Trump threatens to increase the tariff as high as 60%. This would bankrupt the country. This would bankrupt the country.
60%.
Let's say the Smoot-Hawley tariff. So this was the tariff in the 30s that raised tariffs on imported goods. This is what worsened the Great Depression. This is the last notable tariff in American history, and I just want the details of how um, much of a percentage it was. Yeah, it's around 60%. Um, you can see the
What's the
tariff rates here. There's Smoot-Hawley there. It's the highest tariff rate we've had, other than the tariff of abominations in 1828. Um, and you can see tariffs kind of just didn't exist afterwards because they fucking suck. Like this is the so our tariff rate was 60%, and it. Do you know what happened in the 1930s? The Great fucking Depression. Oh my god. So like
Yeah, not a fun time
it's
for the
yeah,
world.
and that was a pre-internationalized world. This was the
Yeah,
1930s. This is before internationalization became the common standard. This will actually bankrupt the country because China's our biggest trading partner.
like
Order, sorry, say what you want to
we're
say.
we're 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 international enough to actually be international, right?
Yeah,
You can get anything anywhere, anytime.
yeah, you can
You
import
just gotta
anything from
be
fucking
able
anywhere.
to have green pieces of paper for it.
Yeah. Order reviews of fentanyl flows into the U.S. specifically from Canada, Mexico, and China, and make recommendations including potential tariffs and sanctions. So yeah, they basically it's just like a war on drugs type shit. If we find that you are not doing enough to stop fentanyl, we'll give you a tariff. Determine the Commerce and Trade Secretaries in the U.S.
That's
Trade.
gonna get extended, I feel.
Which
Your
one? This?
country's still in your no, the previous one, the
Oh,
drug
oh
the
yeah,
drug war thing.
yeah.
That's gonna
Fentanyl.
get
It'll grow from fentanyl to other things too.
yeah, like your country's still in the middle of having the discussion about things like weed and
I
mushrooms and
think
plants and
I
stuff.
think weed is actually kind of transcended it. I think most Americans, even Republicans, like weed. Like a lot of Trump people like weed. I think honestly we have a fair shot of
But
weed becoming legalized.
but at that same note, they could just as easily go the other direction because it allows
True.
them more control, not less.
I don't think because like I think it's like 85% of Americans like weed. I just don't think they'll weed will be part of the discussion anymore. The only people who don't like it are old people, like literally. And even then it's like only half of them. It's just not that popular to talk about weed. However, things
Yes, you live in
like
fucking Jersey.
weed is legal here, yeah.
So,
Very
like,
legal.
your day-to-day experience
There's like
is not the
eight smoke
day-to-day
shops.
experience of like other places.
True, true. I don't really see people
How,
talk about
when
weed
did
on the TV.
when did the different states legalize?
I think the
I'm
earliest is
curious.
2011 and some shit like that. Weed legalization map.
If you can bring that up.
Uh, Here, this one. I want dates though. I want dates. Whatever. Legality by jurisdiction. By state. Can I get timeline? Here we go. The first state to legalize it was Washington in
I
2014,
remember being super
and
fucking
Colorado,
surprised.
and Colorado,
I remember being super surprised.
and then Alaska, DC. New Jersey's over here in 2021. I remember that.
2021 is
Yeah, it's 3 years ago.
wow.
Ohio was last year or 2 years ago. But
Eh,
as you can see here, this is the state uh map somewhere. Here's the map. So Texas, Idaho, Wyoming, Iowa, Kansas, Wisconsin, Indiana, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina all have it illegal. And then all the blue is recreational use, and all the green is medicinal. And then black is decriminalized. So if it's got the black dot, that means it's not a crime to have it, unless it's obviously like recreational. So they don't need the decriminalization part. So yeah,
mm,
iTech can't have weed. David
no,
can if
I
it's
think
medicinal. I can have it, except I'm not of age because I'm not 21.
stupid law.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a little too off topic. Direct the Commerce and Trade Secretary. Oh, we read that one. Suspend U.S. participation in the global tax deal, an international agreement intended to set a minimum corporate tax globally to prevent multinational corporations from avoiding tax altogether. Yeah, so basically now companies don't have to pay taxes. Pause the U.S. ban on TikTok for 75 days, specifically barring the Attorney General from enforcing the law Congress passed in 2024 to allow new administration to access national security concerns. Basically, this is TikTok exists for 75 days while we try to work out a deal with China for them to turn it into a right-wing app, which they
Do
kind
you
of already
want to
did.
hear a shocking thing I heard?
Yeah, tell me.
Uh, there's been talk that Mr. Beast might
Yeah, I
wants to
saw
be.
that. That's not happening. I saw that.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna say it's happening, but like,
It's just crazy.
people are
I
people are saying shit
I
at this
I
point.
think Mr. Beast is gonna go full on like Trump grifter or like at least a right wing grifter in this next year. I'm fully predicting that Mr. Beast will just go fully right wing. Same thing with like Logan Paul. They're just
The
not even
thing
gonna hide
is
it
that
anymore.
Mr. Beast is a face,
He's a face.
right? Which means that he's going to be the worst human being that he can be, while at the same time presenting it all as if it was fucking normal.
Yeah. Bar U.S. government officials from pushing social media companies to combat misinformation and disinformation. Trump orders that states must such previous. Basically, yeah, companies now can no longer fight misinformation. Now we move on to climate, energy, and the environment. This is the stuff that makes me most depressed because I think climate and environmentalism and
Your
stuff is the thing that makes me the most doomer about the future. Because I know for a fact I will become a climate refugee if I don't leave New Jersey. Uh,
Yeah, like your home where you
my
grew
home
up, the
will be
place where
gone.
you grew up, will not exist anymore.
My
As
home,
washed
my
away.
childhood home, the town I grew up in, all of that will be gone. I will not have that. When
Like
I am
I've
older
been
and I want to
to the
return
house.
home, I will return to the shore and look out at where my house was.
I've been to the house where like my grandmother grew up.
I won't be able to.
Like, and not across the world or some shit. Like like 10, 15 minutes drive.
Yeah. The house I grew up in was on the water. Like our backyard was the water. It was a
But
lagoon
that's just
passageway
underwater.
that led to the ocean. It is on in my house I live in right now in like by 20 I think 20 40 this house our house is raised so like it won't be underwater but up to the front door will be flooded. So this house is unlivable because the foundation will be eroded away by water and the fucking dry, like the lawn and everything, that'll all be underwater, like permanently
The thing
underwater. And when it goes
is
high
like
tide, it'll go even higher. Like my feet will be water. Like my house will be unlivable. The house I grew up in will be unlivable. The town I grew up in will be unlivable. Um, it I
you
it
know what
is an
I believe?
existential threat
This
for me.
Do you know what I believe?
Yeah,
Like, this might be a hot button topic, but American culture is something unique in the world, right? Like, it is. Unquestionably, when you take it as a whole, American culture is unique. There are gonna be motherfuckers still living there.
absolutely. There's like, look at New Orleans.
That's
Look at New
the thing.
Orleans.
It's
Look at New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. The entire sections of the city were flooded. A lot of suburbs were completely flooded, and people like still lived there for a long time in like just boats. Like they just lived in flooded homes or homes that were just above the water, and they still lived there because they had nowhere else to go. Like I know for a fact there are some houses here that are very raised. Those people are going to live there until that house fucking collapses beneath them from the water eroding at the supports. Like they're good people are still going to be living in town. Like depending on how high the water raises, I could still live in this house if I had a boat.
Yeah, but even beyond just having a boat, remember, like, look, you're already proving it, right? Like, it's possible in your mind.
Yeah, I could see it happening. Like I could see, oh, I just have a raft now that I like a little like a dinghy
So
that I drive
here's
to
the
my
thing,
home.
like, that's unironically like
It's honestly kind of
third world
fun.
country conditions.
Yeah, it is third world country conditions. But like if I think about it in like a cool way, then it's like a video game.
Yeah. But that's what makes Americans unique, right? Like that's what I'm talking about right there, is that
Americans
idea that, like,
persevere.
you
We just
know,
survive. We fucking do. It is what it is.
fucking severe
It
people
is what
say
it is.
say Russians are fucking crazy.
Yeah, I do take a little bit of pride in that statement you gave me there, Jade. Just Americans will just make do. They'll just be like, all right, my
No, but
home's
the,
underwater.
the thing
All
is
right.
that the other side of that statement, remember, just to bring you a little bit down from that
No,
fucking high,
no.
is it also means that
We're
you're
complacent.
turning your backs on people for living in third world places while living in third world places.
Well, we're not living in a third world place yet.
A lot of America, as
Oh,
far as I
I
understand,
understand. Yeah,
is.
it's pretty bad. It's pretty fucking bad.
Like,
Anyway,
you just said
let's
New
continue.
Orleans.
let's continue.
So, like,
America's fucked. Let's talk about how everyone in America is gonna be fucked out. This one's already happened. We can actually pull up the Paris Climate Accords for this one. We can see it has been. They left. We
yes.
already left, along with
Yeah.
Syria and I believe Israel are the only countries. Oh, and Nicaragua, I
I
believe, are the
actually
only
have a
countries not in
thing
it.
prepared for that.
Oh, you do? Okay, let's see it. Yeah, that's for the WHO. Yeah, no, we are the only country not in the WHO. Even North Korea is in it.
Like,
All of the world is in the WHO.
fucking Syria,
Fucking Somalia, Syria, Somalia, North Korea, Eritrea,
the DRC,
the DR, all these countries are in the WHO, and except for America and Western Sahara, which doesn't have a
Zimbabwe.
Western Sahara, which doesn't even have a government, isn't in it. That's the only thing that isn't in it besides America, the most powerful country on the planet. I fucking hate this country. Withdraw the U.S. from the climate agreement, Paris Climate Agreement, which committed nations to pursue policies limiting carbon emissions that cause climate change. Declare a national emergency. This is both symbolic measuring, national energy emergency. This is both symbolic measuring, reflecting Trump's promise to expand energy production. Which, by the way, energy.
But didn't they double down on non-renewable energy and gut renewable energy?
Yeah. The U.S. they want to do fossil fuels because I find that fossil fuels are
Yes.
actually good. I want a graph because we are at an all-time high for like natural gas and stuff. This is this is like, yeah, we've been going down in like renewables and coal. Actually, this is from the EIA, right? The EIA. Okay, I don't even know what that is. Uh, Here's this consumption, and then if you go to electricity from all sectors, apparently electricity, but consumption is at its highest. So the consumption is here. Here, consumption and production. This is Britain though. Is it? It's British thermal units. U.S. primary, yeah. So I don't know why this graph is like this, but all the others are showing it up and up. So as you can see, the consumption of energy is going up and up and up and up every year. Eventually, we're going to run out, and a lot of companies have already said that they're kind of running out. So what's going to start happening is we're going to start seeing a lot of neighborhoods get eminently domained and then bulldozed, and then an oil drill is built there or a coal mine is started or some shit to get every last drop of resource we can get out of this country. We are going to strip mine the country for resources. What's going to start happening?
Fuck.
Compel the Army Corps of Engineers to use the full extent possible its emergency permitting to provisions to speed energy projects and urge all. So basically, they're taking the Army Corps of Engineers, a group of people who are only used for special government projects, to now start building private energy plants. Eliminate Biden policies intended to encourage electric vehicle development and purchase. Part of, yeah, fuck off. I don't even like electric vehicles. Require all agencies within 30 days to submit the White House of Office of Management and Budget their plans to eliminate regulations and rules burdensome to deems burdensome to domestic energy production and consumption with particular attention to oil nationally. So basically, now they're going to start removing any quote unquote burdensome regulations that are supposed to regulate fossil fuels. Repeal multiple Biden orders and memoranda regarding climate change, including the guidelines for implementing climate-related provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act, an effort used to assess financial risks not combating climate change, and establishment of President's Council of Science. Yeah. Streamline other fossil fuel extractions in Alaska with a command to rescind, revoke, revise, amend, defer, or grant exceptions from any and all regulatory actions relevant in the state. So basically, Trump is trying to restoring any suspended fossil fuel leases within the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Oh, this one scrolled up like a goddamn fucking jump scare. We'll get to that in a bit. Deny a pending U.S.
Mm.
Fish and Wildlife Service request to create an indigenous sacred site within the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Restore first Trump administration rules on hunting and trapping in national preserves in Alaska. Roll back other Biden era limits or regulations on fossil fuels with extraction on federal lands. Make the outer continental shelf ineligible for wind energy leases and other limitation on non-fossil fuels. Re-engage illegal argument. I have something to say about the wind energy offshore and stuff. I want to talk about in a second. Re-engage a legal regulatory battle with California State Governor over water and routes from Sacramento to San Joaquin, sorry, I had brain fire there. San Joaquin Delta. Trump wants to override fish and wildlife protection efforts to route more water to the Central Valley and Southern California. Anyway, so I'm gonna make sure this one is pulled off screen because it might dox me. Um, Save Our Shores LBI protest. Is this what I'm thinking of? Yeah. Um, Save LBI. That's what it was. Save LBI. Yeah, fuck these people. I'm also gonna pull up a map, but I have to make sure I'm not signed in so I don't dox myself because we're gonna be talking about areas that are too close to my home, and I'm still signed in on my main account. I have to switch to the SqueekyDogCast account. So LBI is this island down here, and this is this is basically where I grew up. I grew up in the town over here, Beach Haven West. This is where I grew up. This will be underwater. I grew up here in Beach Haven West in my grandparents' home. And this is the beach that I would go to all the time as a kid. I specifically went to Ship Bottom a lot for Ship Bottom. I think it's on the southern side. For Ship Bottom. There it is, Ship Bottom, right here. This is the beach that I went to all the time. Here, I'll put it onto Earth Maps. So LBI had a huge initiative recently to build offshore wind farms along basically not even just LBI, the whole shore. The whole shore was going to have wind farms, and it was going to create
That's so
so
cool.
many jobs. And these motherfuckers in LBI, these absolute shit stains, were like, no, it'll ruin the property values. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't have the offshore wind farms. And they're all property owners of people who own these homes on the beach that are going to be under the fucking water in like 3 days. It's
You
the
know what thought doesn't occur to
it's
them?
these fucking people up here. These fuckers. All these motherfuckers up here who are gonna beautiful beach, by the way. Like it's really, really nice beach. Too bad it'll be underwater. They refused it, and now all offshore wind farm projects in New Jersey have been canceled. All of them. There is no more offshore wind farm projects in New Jersey. Really beautiful beach though. Really, really pretty.
I mean, yeah,
This is it during July on night
but
when it's closed.
people would be able to keep the speech. And
Yeah,
here's the
I
thought
have
that doesn't
such
occur to them.
fucking
Instead of killing the job, right? Saying that it'll lower property values.
yeah,
A better option would be to make them look pretty and people will like them there
yeah.
and the property values will rise.
Yeah, it'll be
You
like a
fucking
cult. It'll
idiot.
be like a
Just make
cultural
them pretty.
landmark. It'll be like a
Yep,
cultural landmark.
exactly. Like,
Like here's our
make
great wind farms that saved the state. I want to get a good picture in the summer, but for some reason all these are when the beach is closed and like there's people who live there. Anyway, because this beach gets like packed. It's like
well, I mean, like,
fuck.
if you're assumed to be taking pictures of other people, then, you know,
Maybe hold on. I just want to get a picture of the Jersey because the Jersey Shore beaches are beautiful, and I think at Asbury. All right, it's busy. It's not packed though. I've seen this place completely fucking packed. This is another beautiful beach. Asbury probably has the most beautiful beach in the entire state. I'm not gonna lie. This is really good. I'm getting distracted. I just like talking about my state because I love my state. Too bad it's gonna be underwater. Anyway,
to that point, I wonder what you'd think of the beaches I have because
we'll have to talk about them another
remember,
time.
I'm just saying, I have two oceans.
I know. I really, I say we'll have to talk about that another time, genuinely and earnestly, because I would actually love to see your beaches, and I think we can spend a whole topic talking about like that type of stuff. But I think today it's good to just
Oh
focus on the
yeah,
rest of this.
no, definitely.
Yeah. Diversity, because I grew up on the beach, so even if even if I can't swim, and even if I don't enjoy it, I still love the beach. Like I don't enjoy going with my family, but like the beach itself, I do love. I am proud of where I'm from. Diversity, transgender rights, and civil rights. Give executive branch departments and agencies 60 days to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, including all chief diversity officer jobs, equity action plans, environmental justice positions. Require departments and agencies to give the White House Office of Management and Budget Accounting and previous DEI efforts include names of DEI contractors and grant recipients. Terminate a 60-year-old executive order setting anti-discrimination requirements for governments and agencies. So basically, racism is now allowed. Separate OMB memo effectively. Put all federal DEI officers on immediate leave. So fire anyone who's a DEI officer. Repeal several Biden-era directives on racial and ethnic equity and LGBTQ rights. They included orders intended to ensure equitable distribution of federal money based on the 2020 census, preventing discrimination based on gender identity, sexual orientation, specifically encouraging school inclusion in school settings, and an order expressly allowing transgender persons to serve in the military. Looks like I'm safe. I'm safe from drafts. Look at that. I'll probably just get sent to a
Yeah,
camp.
because you're the one that the ones who got into the military are poking in the back with a fucking AK-47.
Yeah, I'm the one who's like, we're going over the top, and I just blow up the guy's head. Uh, Require that the U.S. government recognize two genders only, male and female. And like how they specify that as if it's like male and demi-male are the only the only two genders recognized are male and demi-boy. If you're anything else,
There was a joke that I heard where it says Iron Man is actually a woman because the chemical, you know, code for iron is Fe,
female. Yeah,
iron, male, Iron
yeah,
Man.
yeah. On passports, visas, global entry cards, and all other forms of documentations, all on programs of communication. So now non-binary people don't exist anymore. Jade, we don't exist. Good to know.
Poof into a puff of smoke.
Yep. Mandate that all federal civil rights laws and labor law will be interrupted and enforced with the understanding that sex is not a synonym for and does not include the concept of gender identity. Dissolve the White House Gender Policy Council and repeal Department of Education guidelines on Title IX concerning transgender rights and various documents advising schools on how to support LGBTQ persons. Title IX rollbacks are really crazy, by the way. That's kind of crazy. Also, I forgot to mention the 60-year law they mentioned here. They didn't actually fucking go into detail about this on this one because they're fucking cowards, AP Press. But the 60-year law they were talking about is the fucking is like Lyndon B. Johnson era, like civil rights movement laws. This is the fucking affirmative action. This is like the law that guarantees that you can't be racist to people that was signed because of fucking MLK. It is insane. Um, Forbid federal money, including grants, from being used to promote gender ideology, and direct the Attorney General and Homeland Security when talking about fucking like domestic citizens is insane too, and talking about them who are just gay. Like it's actually kind of crazy to ensure that all
Like,
males are not detained in women's prisons and household and women's detention
as far
centers.
as I understand, right?
I
Like,
want to
remember,
scroll.
as I didn't grow up in America, the Department of Homeland Security isn't the police that's supposed to look at, like, people in the
Suspected
country,
terrorists.
like terrorists,
Yeah, they're supposed to look out for terrorists. That's the point of them. That's what
like
they're there for,
external
or at least
threats, right?
that's what the expressed point of them is for,
Yeah, like,
like quote unquote point. Because really they were just used for
God.
spying always, but just like the openness of how they're doing it is insane. Um, Forbid federal money, including grants, from being used to promote gender ideology and direct money. Oh, yeah, we already read that one. And now we're on to federal workers and government structure. And this disgusting photo.
More, just
Establish the Department of Government
there's
Efficiency. Oh, it's Doge.
South Africa has a word for this, by the
It's
way.
called South African politics, corruption.
It's called cronyism.
We have cronyism. Yeah, we got that everywhere.
If you don't agree with us and are our friends, then you don't work here anymore.
Under the executive office of the president until July 4th, 2026. This is an entity is led by Elon Musk, the world's richest man, and is charged with recommending cuts in federal programs and spending. Require each agency head to establish their own Doge team for at least 4 people to work with Musk's operation. Freeze federal hiring with exceptions, notably immigration and border enforcement posts and U.S. military jobs, plus a general exception to maintain essential services. This directive does not apply to top presidential political appointees. The action bars contracting with outside labor to circumvent hiring freeze. Basically, if you're not in the immigration, and if you're not in any like Gestapo organization, if you're not in Trump's administration, there's no jobs being hired at the moment. Block new federal rules and regulations in all agencies where Trump-appointed agency chief is not yet on the job to approve new edicts. The White House Office of Budget can override the ban in emergency situations. Require all federal workers to return full-time to in-person work. Basically, if you worked from home, you are now forced to work in an office again, which is kind of bad because a lot of offices downsized, and also a lot of people needed that working from home because they had children or because of disability accommodations or because they just didn't want to fucking do it because it's not all fucking
for their own well-being.
Yeah, safety. Some jobs don't need to even be done in person. They're only done in person to control you more. Some jobs can just be done at home because they're on a fucking computer.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, I wish I could do that. I wish I could work from home. Though, I mean, I guess it depends on my career. If I'm a teacher, I'd rather be in person.
Right?
Yeah. You're an outsourced job. You're like, you worked for an American company in South Africa.
Which, think about that, right? That company is owned by somebody who was at Trump's inauguration.
Fucking sucking his dick under the table. Anyway, direct reviews across the executive branch. He's technically our boss, Jeff Bezos, because we do Twitch streams. Direct reviews across the executive branch of career senior executive service officials and effectively make it easier to fire, demote, or reassign those federal employees, generally the highest ranking civil service employees whose jobs historically have been protected through administrative changes. Make it easier to fire people that Biden put in. Make it easier to fire federal workers by reinstituting the executive order from the first Trump position, which was later repealed under Biden. The latest Trump policy adds provisions that states that federal employees and applicants are not required to personally or politically support the current president, but must faithfully implement administrative policies. Understand that failure to do so is grounds for dismissal. You must be happy to do what we want you to do. Require a federal hiring plan within 120 days to set new standards for hiring federal workers. They require recruiting of individuals passionate about the ideals of American Republic and preventing the hiring of individuals based on their race, sex, or religion, while blocking those who are unwilling to defend the Constitution. We need ideological loyalists. Formally nominate the cabinet and sub-cabinet offers. Yeah, whatever. Sub-cabinet. Healthcare. Repeal Biden directives intended to make it easier to enroll Americans in Medicare services, secure insurance coverage on the Affordable Care Act. When they repeal the Affordable Care Act, I think that'll be like legitimately destructive and will kill so many people. So many people who we even know personally rely on the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
Like we have several friends who without this will literally go homeless. It is a worrying thought. Lower prescription drug costs. The Trump action, however, does not actually repeal the Biden-era $35 a month cap on insulin, Medicare's $2,000 annual out-of-pocket cap on prescription drugs, or Medicare's ability to negotiate drug pricing. Those policies remain enforced by federal statutes passed by Congress. Repeals multiple Biden orders and directives on COVID-19. Withdraw the U.S. from the World Health Organization. Ordered the Secretary of State and OMD director to identify credible and transparent United States international partners to replace the U.S. relationship with who? Foreign policy, national security, and America first. There's Marco Rubio. From Florida. I believe he's a House rep from Florida.
Yeah,
but now he's the Secretary of State. Cancel Biden-era sanctions on far-right Israeli groups and individuals accused of violent actions against Palestine and the West Bank. Biden's order had frozen U.S. assets and barred Americans from dealing with Israelis covered by his order. So basically, if you're an Israeli right-wing terrorist group, you are now no longer considered dangerous to the Trump administration. Direct Secretary of State Marco Rubio to issue guidance to put all State Department politics, programs, personnel, and operations in line with America First foreign policy. Redesignate Yemen's Houthis as a terrorist organization. Trump's administration designated them as global terrorists and foreign terrorist organization in one of his last acts in office, but Biden reversed it early on at the time, citing humanitarian threat that sanctions posed ordinary Yemenis. One of the only good things of Biden's administration, by the way, was his like willing to do diplomacy with Houthis. Define the membership, establish operating procedures for the National Security Council. Pause all U.S. foreign development aid pending reviews of efficiencies and consistency with administration aims to be conducted within 90 days by relevant agencies under guidelines from Rubio to the White House Office Management and Budget. Rubio can't lift the freeze of any program. Immediately grant 6-month security clearance to certain administrative officials whose background checks are pending. The White House Council determines aides get temporary clearance. Repeal Biden's executive order for artificial intelligence that aimed to set guardrails on development of AI. What is this? Oh, it's Mount Denali. This is what got renamed to Mount McKinley. This is formerly Mount McKinley, then Mount Denali. And now it's Mount McKinley again. Nationalism. Restore the name of Mount McKinley in Alaska. The change for the North America's tallest peak recognizes William McKinley, 25th president, who Trump has praised as an economic leadership and expanded the U.S. territory throughout the Spanish-American War. President Barack Obama had in 2015 renamed the mountain to Mount Denali, which native tribes had called it historically. Trump's order did not change the name of the surrounding Denali National Park and Reserve. Required Trump's personal approval of new architectural design standards for federal buildings so the president can ensure federal structures respect regional, traditional, classical architectural heritage in order to uplift and beauty spaces in old American United States. I actually have something to say about this one. I didn't know this existed until just now, but I know exactly what this means. This absolutely means that every single federal building will be neoclassical again, or at least try to be. It'll be some fucking bullshit, even worse version of neoclassical. I hate neoclassical architecture. I dabble in a lot of like things. And one of the things I like to like look at and like know the terminology and the little bit of a nerd for is architecture. I am one of those people who actually likes brutalism when it's done right, of course. And a lot of government buildings go for brutalism, especially in like the Cold War. So like I when I was in DC, I noticed that like I think it was the FBI building, I think, is a big brutalist building that sits on the street and it's very imposing. It's the fucking FBI building. And a lot of Republicans hate brutalism because one, it brings to mind communist like commie blocks and stuff. But also because neoclassical architecture is the one that's associated with like American like founding fathers and stuff, and the slave owner plantations were like neoclassical. So it's like, oh, it's the great American. It's like it's the fucking fascist architecture. So they're gonna try to build more fucking neoclassical buildings.
Yeah, they want like statues of themselves and their hero.
Yeah. Ordered that the U.S. flag will always be flown on full staff on Inauguration Day. The immediate effect was made to countermand Biden's traditional 30-day order lowering flags as a mourning tribute to President Carter. Trump's order returned flags on federal installations to half staff through the end of the he's basically fuck Carter. Death penalty and crime. Crime. Who the fuck is this guy? Oh, Oathkeeper founder. Okay, hello.
Oh my goodness.
Direct the Attorney General to explore
no.
whether 37 direct the Attorney General to explore whether 37 federal prisoners who had death sentences commuted to life imprisonments by Biden can be charged and tried with capital crimes. So basically, Biden had taken a bunch of people off of the death sentence, and Trump wants to put them back on. Direct the Attorney General to take all necessary and lawful action to supply states with adequate drugs to carry out lethal injections. Direct the Attorney General to seek reversals for U.S. Supreme Court precedents that limit application of death penalty in states' jurisdictions. In a symbolic gesture, direct the Attorney General to encourage state attorneys, generals, and district attorneys to pursue death penalties in all possible cases. What the fuck? That's so evil. Oh my god. Just kill them all, he says. Yeah, here's the Capitol 2020 riot. Here's Donald Trump supporter, Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes, convicted on all charges related to January 6th riot, talks to a reporter outside D.C. detention facility after being released from jail in Maryland on Tuesday. So the founder of the fucking Oath Keepers, a neo-Nazi organization, is now free. The Capitol riot in 2020 campaign redux, commute the sentences. Oh, this is the final section. So we're almost done. Commute the sentences and grant full pardons to hundreds of individuals convicted or still being prosecuted for their role in January 6, 2021 attacks in the U.S. Capitol as Congress convened to certify Biden's victory over Trump in the 2020 election. Order the Attorney General and all others to review all agencies' investigative and enforcement actions during Biden's tenure to identify what Trump describes as weaponization of federal government against his supporters. The directive identifies the Justice Department, Federal Trade Commission, Securities and Exchange Commissions, and the intelligence community. It requires all to report present findings and with recommended remedial actions. Direct the Attorney General to investigate U.S. dealings with social media platforms during Biden's tenure and make recommendations for appropriate remedial actions in response to what Trump frames as censorship attempts. Revoke the security clearance of 50 people Trump accuses of aiding Biden in 2020 campaign via their collective public statement about a laptop that belongs to Hunter's son. Oh my God, they're still talking about it. They're still talking about the laptop.
And
Direct.
but like Hunter was pardoned, yes.
Yeah. Doesn't matter
So
though.
this is meaningless.
Yeah, they just want the people who were a part of it, I guess. I don't know. Direct the Director of National Intelligence and the CIA's director to submit a report within 90 days with recommendations for all disciplinary action on how to prevent the intelligence community or anyone who works within it from inappropriately influencing domestic elections. So the biggest one here is that they pardoned all the Jan 6 protesters. And
Yeah.
that's it for what Trump has promised. Or it's not promised, it's what he's already done. That's every single thing Trump already did. There was a lot of bad shit there. The biggest ones were repealing the affirmative action, pardoning the Jan 6 protesters, ending any sort of like climate regulations, all the
Healthcare
tariffs,
is fucked.
the healthcare stuff being like threatening to be even going further than that, the
The
removal
police
of
can do anything to you anywhere, anytime.
Title IX being redefined and stuff, the ICE now having unlimited jurisdiction. Some really bad stuff. Some real bad stuff. And we're on day 4. We're on day 4. Currently, it
I
is
mean,
it is the 23rd right now, which is day 4, 21, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, we're on day 4. It's bad.
like, mm,
Uh, it's bad.
this is absolutely destroying me.
There's really not much you can even say about it. It's just like, yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Bureaucracy of fascism. That's
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
all in the paperwork. And then, when it all falls to shit, they're burning the paperwork.
yeah, yeah. The only hope we have is that nothing lasts forever.
Trump did say you'll never have to vote again.
Yep, yep. I'm just damn, I just don't know where things are gonna go from here because of course there's a lot of things that are on the lookout of, like, because we still have birthright citizenship completely going away as something that could still happen. We have like obviously an uh like budget cuts are gonna be coming soon for like Department of Education. Um like even worse climate regulation, destructions, more fascist like a nationalism bits. Like there's gonna be a lot of shit coming up very soon. That's gonna be rough. It's a worrying time. I feel this episode of the podcast kind of was a lot of reading. Didn't flub as much as I thought I would.
I mean, no,
I definitely stumbled over my
maybe,
words
but
when
no.
I stumbled my words when I was reading over a lot of titles.
Yeah, but also, like, it's such bureaucratic lawyer speak as well. Remember, these
Yeah.
are executive orders. That's like they do this bureaucracy because they need to make sure our friends are our friends, and if you're not our friend, we get to do anything to you we want.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, it's a trend of fascists to like to keep the paperwork and stuff and all that. But like I said, the only hope is that nothing lasts forever. Because yeah, nothing lasts forever.
I guess like I
Eventually,
really
things will
aren't on
change.
top of that. Like it breaks me.
Yeah. I think I hold the belief that the best hope we have to getting Trump incredibly unpopular and a lot of the stuff not being able to go through because of his unpopularity is if the tariffs go through quickly and it just collapses the economy. Like the tariffs go in for China, Mexico and Canada, and then all of a sudden like food skyrockets in price, housing and cars and gas, they all skyrocket. Like things just get crazy and people get pissed. That's the best hope we have. And honestly, if the tariffs go through, there's a non-zero chance that things get worse. But here's the thing: unless it gets so bad that everyone is like undoubtedly affected, like if it's just marginal worse, the Republicans will just lie and say that like do some fucking 1984 shit, and they'll be like, yeah, but like under Biden, the groceries were $40. Like eggs were
Yeah, they can say
$40.
shit.
And like yeah, so like
They
yeah,
can say shit.
so like eggs are like say let's say eggs are $4 right now, and Americans like we want $2 eggs, and under Biden eggs were $5, and now they're 4, and Americans want them at 2. We'll say that tomorrow eggs go up to $8, and then it's like, well actually under Biden eggs were $14, so oh, that's what it's gonna be like. Or maybe it's even more fucking worse, where eggs are now $50. Like, oh, under Biden, eggs were actually $70 and $80. You see, so we're actually going down. They'll just lie, and people
Exactly.
fucking believe it because they're stupid, and they have no other. It's not even that they're stupid; it's that they have no other media access. Like they just hear it from one source. Their brain gets rotted. It's like a pressure cooker. Like their brain has been stuck in a pressure cooker of right wing propaganda and racism, and then all they think about now is how the
The
immigrants
thing
are
is
raising
they
the
hate
prices
each
of
other
living.
too.
They hate,
They hate each other too. Like that's the thing. It all implodes because eventually they hate each other.
they hate everyone.
That's the point. Is like if you're hating everybody else, like everybody else is just like you. It means you can just hate everybody.
Uh, I think it might be obvious, Jade, that you're high.
But I'm also crashing out on this. This is like soul
Yeah,
destroying.
it's I'm soul destroyed too.
Like I really, no matter what, I would feel like this after all of that. I mean, it's just
It's
so
a
much
lot.
bureaucratic
It's
evil.
a lot of evil. It is really just, especially the climate stuff, because like I said, I live in an area that's going to be devastated by like climate change, and
You know, like
seeing nothing being done about it really just makes me so depressed because I know because like some places like everyone's going to be affected by climate change even if it's just temperatures rising, but for me my home is going to be gone.
yeah,
It's so hard to grapple with that idea that like my town will be gone. The place I grew up with will be gone. Where I had my childhood memories will be gone. I will not be able to share these with anyone. I'll not be able to revisit them. There, it will be gone. I
like I
will.
could take you to my grandmother's house where
Yeah,
she grew up.
you could.
The shit exists.
It exists. It'll be real. I mean, not. I mean, I've lived in a bunch of homes. Some of those homes will still be around because they were more inland. But the ones that I spent most of my childhood in, like my grandmother's home, the one I grew up in Beach Haven West that I showed off on the. I didn't show the home, but I showed like the town. That
Yeah.
home is where I spent like a large portion of my childhood, and it's where my grandparents currently live, and I go there all the time. And it's still a home that I can go up to my old room and everything is still basically how it was because it got turned into like the visiting room that like our cousins sleep in. So like it's kind of just been kept the same. One of the mattresses got taken out. It was like a bunk bed. It's a very tiny. Next time I'm over, I'll have to show you pictures because it's honestly like a really cozy room for like a kid. It was a really nice room, but um, like it'll just be gone. It'll be gone, and it's
I,
really sad to think. Yeah,
it's painful to hear about because people I care about are over there.
yeah. And it's like every state. I can think of like everyone I know in how they got like affected. Like someone who lives out west, droughts, fires, tornadoes. Uh, I mean, earthquakes won't really be changed by the climate. Not as far as I know. I don't really know how that works, but like devastation from an earthquake will be harder to rebuild from because there'll be less provisions to like there'll be less development. So like if an earthquake hits, it'll be take longer to rebuild afterwards. Not that they'll get worse or anything. But like yeah, fires and droughts and tornadoes are gonna be huge in like the like California, Nevada, Idaho, like that area, like all the dry areas, the shrublands, like
And they're
Oklahoma.
they're threatening to withhold
Aid.
like my aid to
Yeah.
California right now.
Because it's a blue state. Like it's crazy. And there was another fire in San Diego. I didn't know if you heard about that. Like just south of LA, there was a fire in
No,
San Diego. I think it already got taken care of, but it came from like a lithium factory or something, like a lithium battery factory.
oh, I heard something about a lithium factory.
I don't know
Fuck.
if they were connected. I think I just heard of two different stories. I actually don't remember. Um, but I haven't heard anything else about the San Diego fire, so I assume they were the same thing. It's under control now. Um, but it's bad.
Oh God.
It's bad. Um, like, and then in the south, you got hurricanes, flooding. Like the sea level rising is mostly going to be an East Coast thing because the West Coast is higher elevation. I mean, LA and stuff will still be affected, like because that's like a beach area, but like the sea level rising is mainly an East Coast thing because like Florida is basically entirely below sea level. Florida, Louisiana, like New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, those areas they're going to be hit hard. Oh, Maryland's another one. Like they're going to be hit hard by sea level rising. Um, Delaware's going to be like gone. Like Rhode Island's going to be gone. Like those states are going to be gone.
It's like historical sites for you as well.
Yeah, it's like cultural landmarks, historical and important places for American history will be gone. Large population centers will start to be flooded. I mean, New York is pretty like I don't think New York will be flooded, but what will happen is New York will be flooded by people coming up from like the Jersey Shore, coming from like up down south from like New England.
As far as I can tell, New York is just flooded with people already.
New York uh has a lot of homeless people. Um but it's not
Property prices are
it
super
is yeah,
high.
it's out of cost of living and not so much the lack of buildings because New York is massive. If New York wanted to, it could house everyone.
Yeah,
It could easily house everyone because there's a lot of abandoned buildings that could be refurnished. There are a lot of buildings that have low counts. If the city needed to, it could just fucking buy a hotel from somewhere and turn that hotel into an apartment building.
it's been done.
It has been done many times, like just requisition, like eminent domain shit. Like this is now our building. Like this is now a city building, and we are going to fucking like this is ours now. So like, uh, just a lot of stuff to think about. Rough episode. You know what? I was thinking about this before we recorded today, but to cheer ourselves up, do you wanna watch a movie after this?
I really don't think I can.
Oh,
Like I'm really destroyed. This is really bad news for like
it's
people I
really
care
bad.
about. And
Yeah,
yeah, so
I was gonna say we should watch
I'm gonna need to like
the 2003 Hulk,
actually
but
go and not think about things for a
you have
while
been
because
up
this
for like
is
24 hours, over
way more by
way
now.
more, like 36 hours. You probably should get sleep
Yeah,
or at least a little nap.
I'm sorry, but yeah, that's not how. I,
That's all right.
it's just it's draining because that's what they want. They want you to just not care. They want you to reach a state of
Well, no,
apathy.
they want you to lose all hope. They want you
Yes,
to have that apathy by losing hope.
yes, it's the worst way. So
I
I'm
have
just
not lost
gonna.
hope yet. I still,
I won't say I've lost hope, but I just don't have it right now.
yeah, I just got that
Like
optimistic
that's the truth.
spirit. I take after my idol, the Spider Boy, who never loses hope.
Oh God.
The Spider Boy.
You know how I feel about spiders.
What about Spider-Man?
No, just no.
Someone who hates
Thank you for
Spider-Man because they're an
joining.
arachnophobe. Thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you so much.
Oh,
This episode was a bit of a bummer, but I think it's kind of important. Next week, I hope we can talk about more exciting things, unless obviously political.
like
There'll
at
probably be
least
political
happier
seg. There'll
topics.
be a political segment probably every episode for the next couple weeks because of it being the beginning of an administration. But
Yeah,
hopefully more positive developments come around. I'm almost at the end of the Marvel binge, which will be fun to have a little segment on, I guess, when we're done with that.
I'd like to, yeah,
I do plan on watching
because
more of the
we'll have a
movies with
whole
you.
week.
I do plan on watching more of the movies with you.
When we
Um,
gonna plan for that?
yeah, like Blade and like we have Blade 3,
Oh God.
we got fucking Ghost Rider. We got so much shit coming up for us to watch. It'll be a lot of fun.
Oof.
Oh, we also got the video game binge in your server. The video game
We
movie
do.
binge. We
I
do
gotta
got that.
figure out what times are gonna be best. So yeah, that's gonna
We could talk about
be
that
announced
after.
soon.
We could talk about that after. Cause
Yeah.
I have some quick things to say about that, but I'll say that after the podcast because it's like boring planning stuff. Um.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you
everyone,
for joining us.
thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. We'll be sending you on your way now. Everyone, have a great day. We love you and stay safe.
Stay safe.